My name is Sellers. I'm a second-year student in Lowell House, and I study Integrative Biology, and my preferred pronouns are he, him. I am a senior reporter for the Harvard Crimson on the college administration beat, which basically means I cover the activities of Harvard College students and the adults that are trying to wrangle them. The best part of my job is getting to do something that I'm deeply interested in and have a lot of fun doing, and at the same time get paid for that and be able to, support myself. I have 4 siblings. It's kind of hard to potentially, carve out funds, and so it's really nice to be able to support myself here at college and also have what I don't even really consider it a job or an employment, but to hang out with a lot of people that I really enjoy being around and do something that I feel like is really interesting and even sometimes important. And do that every day. I will say this. I normally, as a hobby, I do some nature photography, and I've kind of been able to pivot that to doing some more journalistic photography. So like interviewing someone, I'm kind of competent enough with a camera to take their portrait or to take pictures of events or things when they happen. And that's great because it means another photographer doesn't have to show up at the same time as I do. So I can kind of like multitask and photograph things and as well as report on them, which I think is great. I think it takes a little bit of work off the really good photographers who need to cover other stuff. Believe there is a journalistic phrasing of being on deadline. I feel like on deadline would probably be good and catchy if it's not already taken. Every time I look up a podcast name that would be cool, it's always taken. So it's probably already taken, and it's probably about journalism. But often you are on deadlines, or often deadlines come up really suddenly when you're studying for a final or studying for, whatever assignment you have the next day, and you kind of have to quickly go out and report on something or write something up really quickly. My girlfriend is not a fan of the Crimson because oftentimes I'll have to move around plans or something because something comes up. So she's probably not as big of a fan of the Crimson as I am, but it would be something about being on deadline, probably. So one time I was sourcing a lot of friends of someone I was writing a profile on, so people that they had worked with previously or had kind of known through different organizations. And I reached out to, I think, about 30 people through email and just kind of told them, here's my personal number, call me whenever it's convenient for you. And I was sitting in the dining hall and I got a call from someone, a number that I didn't have saved or didn't recognize the area code. And I kind of picked up and was like, hey, what's this about? And they were like, you told me to call you. And I was like, oh, yes, sorry, this is for the profile. Yes, just give me a second. And I went out to this conference room and I asked them, I was like, could you just remind me of your name? And it was a Nobel Prize winner who had called me, and I had kind of like put on hold for a little bit. So that was a little bit funny to kind of suddenly realize that I was talking to a Nobel Prize winner, and of course kind of got a little bit more formal after that. But that was kind of a funny story and just kind of the things that can happen when you're trying to source some of the people that are in the orbit here. I'm going to cop out on this one. The Crimson has an official motto, which is keep the old sheet flying. So that would be my tagline. I'm just going to stick with that. So the biggest perk is being able to do something that I really enjoy here on campus, not having to commute out, being able to do something with people I know. I work with a lot of other students that I consider friends, even though they're also technically coworkers and my colleagues, and work on something related to the school and at the same time, be rewarded for that. And be able to support myself with the work that I'm doing there. And that's really just, something that would really affect my ability to get involved in other extracurriculars, including the Crimson, if I had to work a different job. So being able to work for the Crimson here on campus is not only really convenient, but it's really allowing me to pursue journalism in a way that I wouldn't be able to otherwise. I haven't Googled tutorials on the job, although maybe the occasional InDesign situation. Occasionally I have to do InDesign, and I frequently Google things for InDesign. But I think everyone does when they're working with InDesign. But probably one of the kind of strange things I Google is like sometimes the person I'm sitting across from, just to make sure I know their class year, or to make sure that I fully understand their role in an organization, or I can ask them about a work experience. So occasionally I will be sitting directly across from someone and pull up their LinkedIn or their Wikipedia or some other profile of them, just so I make sure I know exactly who I'm talking to. But I try to come to interviews mostly prepared. I've learned a lot of Harvard department acronyms, especially within the college. The biggest one is the DSO, the Dean of Students Office. I talk to them a lot about a bunch of different, student organization issues or, current events that are happening in the college. So anything related to the DSO. Also, HUQ, the Harvard University Employees Credit Union, comes up, and I'm kind of proud to know what every letter in that means. And then student government things as well. So the old Undergraduate Council and the new Harvard Undergraduate Association, and all of the acronyms involved in student government, I'm well aware of. Philip Sharp, a Nobel Prize laureate. I had a phone call with him. I didn't get to meet him, I didn't interview him, but I did photograph Jason Bateman, which was kind of fun. Coming to Harvard, I was absolutely sure that I was going to be involved in the Harvard Crimson. It's something that I had really, it was one of the main reasons even that I actually came to Harvard, because I was so excited to get involved in the Crimson, because I used to read it doing high school journalism to make sure that my grammar was correct. We would always look at the Harvard Crimson to see how you write a news article. So the idea of being able to contribute to that was really special. And so it's less that I wouldn't have gotten involved with it were it not an employment opportunity, but that I can be involved in it to the extent that I want to be, which is really dedicating a lot of my time that doesn't now have to go toward a different job off campus or something else, that I can really give as much time as I want to dedicate to the Crimson. That's awesome. Yeah, so I'm more than thankful for that opportunity.